Hey everybody, it's hwsteele, and today is January 8th, 2021, which means 2020 is finally over. Happy New Year to all of us. I hope all of you had a wonderful holiday season, whatever the holidays might be that you celebrate. And I want to let you know that starting next Wednesday, the 13th of January, I will be releasing one video a week here on YouTube for the foreseeable future, at least the next few months. And let's see, I'll be releasing it like I normally do at midnight Central Standard Time, so that's Wednesday morning, technically. And Central Standard Time, I think, is -6 Greenwich Mean Time, so you can do whatever calculations necessary for your local time. So the title of this video is A Peek into Chapter 5 of Tunnel Through the Air. Now, the reason it's a peek into Chapter 5 is because bringing up Tunnel Through the Air here, Chapter 5 here on page 50, of course, Tunnel Through the Air is Gann's 1927 novel that everyone loves to look into, trying to find his secrets. In Chapter 5 here, he talks about Ezekiel. In fact, the entire chapter is nothing but a bunch of Ezekiel quotes for 12 pages. And he basically quotes part of Ezekiel, and then he gives a little description about what his main character, Robert Gordon, thinks about that particular part of Ezekiel. Now, I wanted to bring up something and make a question out of it to you. It's kind of a make you think kind of a video here. So, when I present this to you, don't immediately dismiss it. Ponder it for a little bit. Wonder about it. Do some research if you really want to, and see how plausible this might be. The very first quote comes from chapter 1, verses 4 through 16 of Ezekiel. And it says, "And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud of fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures." Okay, so there's 4 things, 4 living creatures, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So apparently they looked, like a biped, a human person, essentially, except they had weird heads and wings. And one had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings. Now, reading that one sentence, it sounds like one out of those 4 creatures had 4 faces, and every one had 4 wings. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. And they had the hands of a man under their wings on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces and their wings. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went every one straight forward. So it sounds like it's talking about the wings there, but not necessarily. As for the likeness of their faces, they 4 had the face. Okay, so now it sounds like all 4 of the creatures had the 4 faces, the way this is written here, right? They 4 had the face of a man, the face of a lion on the right side, and they 4 had the face of an ox on the left side. They 4 also had the face of an eagle. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop right there, because the classic interpretation of this, going to bring up astrolog, is, I'm going to restrict all the planets because we just want to look at the zodiac here, are these 4 signs. Face of a man is Aquarius. The lion on the right side is Leo. The ox on the left side is Taurus. And the eagle, which isn't actually given a direction, it's spoken of as though it's in opposition to the face, is Scorpio. Now, that, like I said, is the classic definition, but we have a problem with that because the description of this in Ezekiel here does not match what we see in the zodiac. Here's what I mean. If this is actually the face of the man, and we're looking at it like this, then this right here, we're facing this direction, looking at it this way. This is the left side, and this is the right side, correct? And it says the lion's on the right side, and the lion is in opposition to Aquarius. So that does not match. And then the ox, the bull right here, is actually on the right side, and here it says it's on the left side, so that doesn't match. So one might think to themselves, well, we just have to look on the inside, as though we're on the inside of it, which does not match the description of it, because Ezekiel's not in these creatures, per se. He's looking at them, so he's outside of them. But even if we do it from this direction, where we come in here and look at this direction, this being right and this being left, that matches for the ox, but it doesn't quite match for the lion. You kind of have to really stretch it. I mean, technically you can go right and hit the lion, but you can also go left and hit the lion, because the lion, once again, is in opposition to Aquarius, supposedly the man. So there's some problems with that. For us to actually get the description that's right here in Ezekiel, the man has to be here for the lion to be on the right side and the ox to be on the left side. And then the eagle isn't really given a specific placement, so it could be here, but there also happens to be an actual constellation of an eagle right here. So this brings up a really good point, which is the only thing that's exactly right out of this, or I should say correct, is the lion. The lion is definitely Leo. This right here is a bull, but we could stretch it a little bit and say that it's an ox. But there's also the Big Dipper is somewhere in this neighborhood here, and the Big Dipper is considered to be an oxen cart. And Booties is over around here, and Booty's said to be the ox cart driver in some cultures. In fact, in some cultures, the 7 stars that make up the Big Dipper are referred to as the 7 oxen. So this isn't quite as absolutely for sure that this is the ox as the lion is for Leo. And to stretch things a little bit further, they say that Scorpio is the eagle because in some cultures, way back when, Scorpio used to be an eagle, or was thought of as an eagle. But if we're going to stretch things that far, where we go back in time to look at some cultures where we see an eagle right here, then the oxen can definitely come into play right here also. Now the hardest one to point down, or pin down I should say, would be Aquarius, because yes, Aquarius is a man, but if you look at a star chart, there are various different men all throughout this region of the zodiac right here. The classic definition of this, of what is being talked about by these beasts right here, does not exactly fit what's in the Bible, what's in Ezekiel here. So the classic definition might not be completely accurate. I mean, if that boggles the old mind a little bit too much, you can just go ahead and dismiss it and say, no, I'll take the classic definition. That's all that I want to deal with. But it's possible we could have the face of a man here, and then we have the left and the right like it's supposed to, and that's a 120 degree, actually. Let me draw it like this. 120 degree swath of the zodiac. And if the face of the man is here, and then we have the left and the right appropriately, the eagle would be right here, which means we have an opposition being pointed out, essentially, is what would be happening here. Something to think about. In fact, it actually looks like an upside down cross here, this line and that line right there. But anyway, that's just something I wanted to point out to you. I think I pointed it out to you a long time ago in a different video, but it's something that's worth looking into, I think, for a possible alternate description of what's going on here. Or alternate solution, I guess I should really say. Now, if we actually go to Ezekiel right here and read this, I want to point something out to you. And that is that there are 28 verses in the first chapter of Ezekiel, 4 times 7. In the second chapter of Ezekiel, there are 10 verses. So 10 plus 28 is 38, of course. And then here in chapter 3, in verse 15, the word 7 shows up for the first time in this book of the Bible. So that means we have 28 verses in the first chapter, plus 10 verses in the second chapter, plus 14 verses up to the verse where 7 shows up for the first time. So maybe don't just study Tunnel Through the Air. Maybe take a peek into Ezekiel and try studying Ezekiel the same way you would try studying Tunnel Through the Air. Might be a worthwhile effort. But anyway, I want to keep this video a little bit shorter, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I just wanted to pique your interest if this in fact does so. And I will talk to you again next Wednesday. So until then, see you later.